So I got into a car accident years ago, like it's probably over 5 years now, and since my car accident, I've never gotten like another car. I will, but I actually don't mind taking public transit. Why don't I mind? You miss a lot of things when you don't take public transit. Like, if you're the type of person that feel like you need to have a car, that's fine. Me, I have no problem like just taking the bus, taking the train. I like to read, and so if I'm driving, I can't read, right? So that's one of the main reasons why I like to take public transit, like going downtown, just taking the train. Those things are fun to me because I get to just like relax and breathe and be taken there. So I take like Uber a lot. That's really what I wanted to get to. So I've met so many people since like I do Uber. Like, if I look at I use Lyft actually, not Uber, Lyft. So if I look at my Lyft right now, I'll probably see that I've done over 500 rides. And every time I take one, depending on the length and depending on the person, we'd have a conversation. Like, I literally just finished watching Extraction with Chris Hemsworth in it, and there were people from speaking Georgian in it, and I've met a guy. His name was Georgie from Georgia or whatever. So you get to like meet a lot of interesting people when you take Uber. There was one night I was going to meet a guy that I no longer talk to because of something that he did, and I'm a person who's big on letting people pay for what they do, because it's like, if you do some shit like that to me, like you think you could just treat me anyhow and I let it slide, you're gonna feel like you could do that to anybody, and wrong is wrong. So I would rather just cut you off. Anyways, on my way to see that person, I was in an Uber, and it was an Indian guy, because like I said before in other videos, where I live is predominantly Indian people. I don't always get an Indian driver, but he was Indian, of the Sikh religion. And he showed me a place where I know of Sikh people. Like, I remember there was one time I was volunteering at Humber River Hospital, and I used to just walk around and just talk to people, and they would tell me stories. And then I met this guy. He was wearing like a turban. At the time, I didn't really know, because I was living in Toronto, and there weren't a lot of, this is like in 2012, so there weren't a lot of like people with turbans walking around at the time as much as there are now. So I think we ended up talking about like religion, and then he asked me what my religion was. I told him I'm Catholic because I grew up in the Catholic Church, and then he was telling me how he's Sikh. I didn't understand, so I was just like, I know you're Sikh, which now when you look back at it, it's like, that's like, I didn't know. Like, so anyways, so that would be the first time that I met someone from that religion. And then I ended up like doing research on them. I know they walk around with sometimes like some curved knives, and like they're very big on protection. Like, they would protect you if you're like in danger and stuff. They're very wonderful people. And the big thing about the Sikh religion is like, they care about everyone. As much as people would like to say that like Indian people are racist, which I do not think that they are. They've never showed me that. I have Indian friends. Everything is like your mindset, so I'm not even gonna get into that. But they're very big on doing things for people. During the pandemic, the Uber guy, go back to that story because I tend to ramble and I'm very sorry. But he was just telling me how he was showing me this place on my way to meet that guy that I no longer talk to. He was showing me how there's this place where you can go there. He was telling me, if you want, you can go there. You can get meals 3 times a day. They feed people in that, I don't know if it's a temple or monastery. I don't really know if I'm saying the right words, but there's a place where you can go here in where I live in this region, and they would feed you 3 times a day, morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think that is wonderful. And the point that I'm trying to drive here is a lot of the times people think that the only way you can help them is by giving them money. It's like I literally earlier today had a conversation with a relative of mine who said that, she would help my little cousin out by talking to her dad because my little cousin, her mother, doesn't like her father. Really, I want you to understand, see the picture. She doesn't like her father. And so the relative of mine sometimes goes to the father when she sees that my little cousin needs help and talks to him and lets him know about stuff. But that's always in relation to money. And there was like another incident that happened. I was like, well, why can't you do the same thing? And just because it's not money related, why don't you think like just some words, encouraging words could help people? Sometimes just a meal every day. It doesn't always have to be money. And I'm sure someone just disturbed me. Someone's always calling me and they know that I don't really like being on the phone. Anyways, you don't always help people by giving them money. Sometimes it's just advice. You know how much things have helped me in life just from reading books. People like Osho and Robert Greene and all these Mikel Mackenzie. Like I read his book and he's my friend who wrote a book. Sometimes just like things that you read, Kanye West, music, like these are things that stay in my mind that help me in life, to motivate me, to make me a better person. And I would just never understand why people think that if I don't do what it is that you want me to do, whether it is giving you money or whatever it is, that doesn't mean I can't help you. I've met so much people who have changed my mindset just by having a conversation. Now, if you're not, like, sometimes you talk to people and it's like you have the conversation with them, but you already know that they're just gonna go back to be doing the same fucking shit they've been doing the whole time. And it's just like, why am I talking to this person? Like, why am I wasting my breath? Why am I talking to you? And nothing that I said registered. I'm talking to your mind somewhere else. I'm talking to you here. You presented a problem. We're trying to work through it, but you don't want to solve the problem. And that is why a lot of times I just like do stuff like this rather than like, I don't even talk to people that much anymore. Sometimes even relatives of mine, like we have this conversation and it's like every time you call it's a problem. I want you to call me with good news. Tell me something that you've done, something that we've talked about that you've done that has helped you, that you dedicated 30, 60, 90 days to do, to see the results. Tell me those things. There's a reason we have 5 senses, and I just feel like I'm a very observant, present person. Like I like to be present in the moment rather than thinking about the future, thinking about the past. And I feel like people that are like that, constantly thinking about the future, constantly thinking about the past, are the people that suffer the most. As for me, sure, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. No one's saying no to that, but being present when you're with someone and really taking in what they're saying, being present when you're reading a book and really taking in what's being said. Sometimes it's just conversations or a phrase from a book or maybe even from a song. A lot of times people listen to songs. They know it word for word, but they don't even understand what it means. And I feel like that's just like the saddest thing. It's like you're doing all these things, you're reading all these things, and you're not even comprehending, you're not even understanding anything. Anyways, I just wanted to say that, help is always there, especially for people that deserve it, and you just have to be present and focused, using all the senses that God has given you, and that alone helps you solve so many of your problems. Appreciating people that take the time to speak to you, appreciating works of art, books, music. They don't do this for nothing. They do it because they want you to learn something from it. So I just wanted to say that.